Detrick, I want to take a look at your Jerome's here. I've got you up in the window, and let's go ahead and start taking a look. You got your logo variation. So what do we have here? We have the logo set up. Okay, we have the typography. So you have your examples all set here. And I'm going to go ahead and make some suggestions here. And these are based on observations. I've been looking at this now for a while. There's a couple of things going on here with the logo. I think that over here, this is good. You start out showing the logo. That's great. Then you're getting it in here. Now, your background logo pages are really good size, but you can tell that this was done for a different class. This is your branding guidelines. It looks like it's set on an 8.5 by 11, and each of those 8.5 by 11s is just kind of pasted on this larger 11 by 17. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to pull these out of that composition and recompose on the pages, okay, which will probably entail some resizing. Want to address some of your writing here. Okay, here's an issue right here. This right, resizing the logo will require a line stroke to be resized. All that means is that you're going to maintain, that's constrain the original scale. Okay, so you don't have to talk about stroke. Original size logo utilizes a 2-point stroke. That doesn't make any sense, and I'm going to tell you why in 1 second. Okay. So you've got your 4 accepted variations logo usage. That's great. This one's used on embroidery, as you said, so that's fantastic. What I would recommend doing is showing the shadow with the shadow, the non-shadow with the non-shadow. So I would just move that over there so it appears underneath the shadow. Okay, let's move on to the typography. Now you've got your logo variations here, and in the typography right here, you've basically kind of broken your branding right here. And what you've done is you're showing Jerome's out of its element. You're showing Collision Center out of its element. Okay, what I would recommend you do there is show the whole logo, okay, and then just screen back everything but Jerome's. Okay, so just screen that way back, and that the swoosh screen does way back so that it's obvious that we're looking at Jerome's, and then give the typeface there. Likewise with the Collision Center, just go ahead and screen back everything and leave Collision Center at full opacity and show it like that with the full logo. Another inconsistency here is that you're saying some things here that don't make sense. You're saying font size 80 point. You don't name a font size while you're talking about a logo. And the reason that you do that is because the logo is infinitely scalable. And that is one of the big things about vector logos, is the fact that they're infinitely scalable. As long as you constrain the original proportions, that font and stroke size are going to be changing all day long. Every time you grab the corner of that logo right there and hold your shift key and resize it, those are going to be changed. It's a variable. It's not a static. So don't name it as a static. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know, because it's very, very important. Okay, it's an inconsistency and it doesn't make sense. So I don't want you to to present this to a potential employer who's going to kind of scratch their head and go, oh wait, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so I just want to give you a heads up on why. Okay, so now you have your clear space here. Okay, and you have your size requirements. This is good. The size requirements is good because you're saying that if you try to show this logo any smaller than this, it's going to start to break apart. And that's a very relevant thing that you want. It shows that you know what you're talking about, because any logo is going to break apart at a specific size. So size requirements are very, very much relevant. Clear space, you've taken the R. Yes, you have used the R. So you've got the R using as your clear space. However, as you can see right below where you're naming your clear space, you've broken your own rule by presenting that type too close to the logo. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know if it is or not, but it's a guess, and it's the first thing I said is, okay, you define clear space, but you broke it immediately. If you didn't break it, you're coming darn close. Okay, likewise, I want to show you another example of that where you've done the same thing. Right here, okay? You've got this over here saying nothing gets shown around this area, but over here, you're clearly breaking that by placing that gray bar right behind the logo. You're clearly breaking that by placing that gray bar too close to the bottom of the logo where you're saying nothing goes. Okay, so again, that needs to be adjusted for consistency. My recommendation there is to get rid of those gray bars. Just take them right off the card, okay? And then you can start to work. It's good that you're working orange into the contact information. You can do the same thing over here once you get rid of that gray bar. Okay, let's move down. This looks good. The ads look good, but again, there you are, almost breaking your own rule again right there. If you're not, you're coming darn close. So why establish a rule if you're going to come darn close and break it in different places? I hope that makes sense. Excuse me. Okay, as far as your apparel goes, I would suggest you do this. Find images, actual images. If you take a look at that video I showed with corporate examples, take a look at that. And there's examples that were mocked up in Photoshop where you actually take an image of a guy in a golf shirt and Photoshop the logo right on the shirt. It's a superior method to show intent than this. This is really, really old school. Nobody really does this anymore because, as we can clearly see, it's just so far from realistic. It's just not even used for mock-up anymore now that Photoshop's got, this is a couple of a really, really quick fix in Photoshop where you can actually even in Photoshop take that and make it look like it's been embroidered on. So you find a shirt, image of a guy in a golf shirt, right? Maybe looking at the camera and showing that part of his shirt so you can clearly see the logo. And then you can actually take that logo in Photoshop and make it look like it's been embroidered on a shirt. So there's just a ton of different ways to do that. Okay, and then finally we have this. And I'm not real sure. This must have mistakenly put this in here because this week we're just, as we can see down here, this week we're just using the corporate identity. So if we go over to week 4, assignment 2, see it says just by 4 to finalize examples of corporate identity. One example includes 5 components. Okay, so I'm not real sure why you have that package design on there. So that package design is actually next week. Where are we? Let me see. If we go to package design right there, that's week 5. So you don't need that. Okay. So anyways, that's where I'm at, and I think that you're doing a really good job. But are those inconsistencies? So let's go ahead and take a look at those. And one more thing before I forget. I know I'm probably going on 7 minutes, so sorry for taking so long, but this is really difficult to read. There's no hierarchy here. The CMYK and the RGB, it's just really, really a difficult typographic composition right there. I would definitely recommend that you work on that to make it much, much easier to read. Okay, that's all I have. Any questions, comments, concerns, or other? Of course, I'm right here. Please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I'll be looking for your final iteration for the corporate identity. Great job. Thank you.